Saint Germain.
Yes.
It's around the flow.
All right, let's all stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
A motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, with that, we will start the hearing and I will turn it over to Dr. Garrett.
Okay, perfect. So I'm sure you guys have had a chance to look at the proposed budget. I think we got about to you a couple weeks ago. So there's been a few questions coming in, but I just kind of want to do a quick summary, kind of an overall of where we're at and kind of some of the things that happened through the year. So if any point you guys have questions on that, by all means, let me know. So the process, obviously starts way back in February. We actually started pulling data together. A lot of the variables that we don't have when this starts up is we don't know what the legislators are doing or how that's going to end. We also have to take a look at our personnel and our expenses on the other side as well. So once we do get all the revenue through all of the legislative process, and then the State Department of Education has to send us out a bunch of worksheets and different formulas and things that we have to utilize to come up with our totals. So some of the changes that happened this year, one of the big pieces was Senate Bill 1205, which was the 6359, the 6,359 per support unit on our to go only toward certified staff. So that was a big piece that came through. Once that was satisfied, we had to also take a look at going back to ADA versus we were based on enrollment prior. So when we go down through and you guys that were at the meeting when we were at Cavendish and talked about all the different funding and all the different things, I have that worksheet here again. If you guys would like to see that, we can certainly pass that around. Let's go ahead. I already made the copy. So primarily, yeah, we may have to share.
Okay.
So primarily when you're looking at support units and based on ADA versus our enrollment, the biggest difference is you're looking at seat time primarily. So you're looking at when students are at school or in attendance versus being enrolled. So during COVID, those times that they put us on straight enrollment. So really what happens is you lose some of percentage of your funding. So we were really getting funding at our 100% funding at that time based on the 100% enrollment, if that makes sense. So if we have it, I'm just going to use 1,000 kids in the district. We were based on the 1,000 students from enrollment. When you look at attendance, we have to go through a pretty big process. Dwayne does that. He does a really good job of pulling numbers from all the schools. We end up with an average daily attendance, and we have two choices. It's either I think it's the second Thursday in November versus the best 28 weeks. And when we look at the best 28 weeks, it came up as a higher. We get to use the higher of those numbers. So that number came up at 94.8%. So right off the bat, if you look at our funding, that 94.8% is about a 5.2% decrease in our funding right off the bat. And we're talking about state funding. We're not talking about federal funding, grants, those type of things. We bring in roughly $10 million from the state. So that's, you can do the math on that. So it's about a $500,000 decrease from the state. With that, the support unit money actually increased this year. So our support unit money went from $35,924 for our support units to $41,391 for support units. We also, based on our support units, last year we were at 84.68 support units versus this year is 79.86. So our support units actually decreased from last year, and that's due to, again, enrollment. It's due to based on ADA. So all those calculations run through. When you look at those final numbers on the support units, we actually came out plus about $262,000 in the plus on the support units, and that's due to the increase of funding for the per support unit is really where that came from. Does that make sense? That was kind of there's a lot going on with that. Another big piece was insurance. We had about $300,000 increase in insurance funding from the state. Currently, we spend about $2.2 million on health insurance for family and employees. So that helped close that gap a little bit for us. Let's see. So our revenues, that was our revenues. Overall, we ended up with about $1.2 million increase in revenue. With that said, a lot of that was earmarked for salaries, or it was earmarked for particular things. So salaries and benefits were a big part of that. We ended up putting about 1.1 million into salaries and benefits for employees this upcoming year. So with that, there were, our increases in the support unit money comes into the general fund as well. And we're trying to utilize that as best we can. But again, lots of it was earmarked towards actual employees. Yes. Mhm.
So you just said we put 1.1 million into, is that from our local source?
That is the increased funding from the state. Yep.
That for staff specifically?
Mhm. Yes. So when you look at, I know you had some questions on that a little bit earlier about, you'd asked about the difference. What did you ask me? You asked me about the difference on the special ed department. So some of that came, and I'm sure Farrah can help with this, our HR as well, and business manager. They're open for questions as well. But we move people around quite a bit to maximize our funding, and this happens about every year. So with federal funding, which is our special ed department, we try to maximize that as much as possible, and then trying to pull from general fund. So as that increases or decreases, we try to make up for it wherever we can, but we try to maximize those grants as much as possible. And Cody Weddle, our special ed director, has done a great job of really kind of cleaning that up and making those funds go where they really need to be going. So
those are direct federal funds that come into us.
the federal dollars, yes, on the special ed.
That increase was part of that.
No, the increase was only state.
Only
So yes.
So the 1.4 million in the proposed, a big part of that, then almost half of that goes to special ed. It looked like about 500 and thousand.
I don't think that they can probably answer that, but I don't believe so.
Okay. That was like 400 and then another 120, which was proposed increase over last year.
Yeah, come on up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had as well.
Okay.
The 400,000 bump
Mhm.
from last year's budget.
Right.
And it's great if somebody else is paying for it.
Absolutely.
We certainly know we have the need, right?
Yeah, it's not a question of need. I know.
So this one is one that we worked together on to move people. Cody has been really helpful in guiding us, on the appropriate budget coding of people. And so it does look like a big increase to general fund, but we have just been switching paras. A lot of paraprofessionals, don't recall off the top of my head on certified staff, but it's just moving them to the appropriate fund is why that one looks so different this year. And then going forward, we will keep on top of this and just make sure that they're coded appropriately.
So this is money that we were spending last year already, just assigned somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll see a lot in this budget. I know that there's a lot of discrepancies in there as you guys look through that. And the main reason is because we've had a really good cleanup crew this year, really detailing it, making sure, for example, the paras we were just talking about could have been billed through Medicaid, which the funding was not covering it. Well, then we move them to where they're supposed to be, into the special ed department to reflect the true expense. So after a lot of years of that just kind of shifting around, we kind of were able to do like a true reset of where they're a lot more accurate. So.
Yeah, no questioning of the need, just wanting to understand that.
Right. So additional Expenses, I know we're looking at wages tonight was a big portion of that. Keep in mind, we also have special distributions that are earmarked for particular things. So for example, if our reading scores are lower, or now they've reversed that. So if your reading scores are higher, you're eligible for more money. So there's more incentive for that. So as we go through all those formulas, there's a whole bunch of different things on that are line items, and those dollars come in are generated from that as well. So that's a piece of it as well. Let's see. What else am I missing? We had, yeah, there's a lot of pieces to it. There's a huge number of pieces to it. Like I said, the funding sources, if we wanted to kind of recap those, one of the things to keep in mind are forest funds. So when you look down through the list that I just gave you, so if you're looking at general fund, that's really produced or created or generated from some of the support units as well, goes into the general fund. The forest funds are a specific fund that we use kind of as our, I want to say, projects / savings. So we will pull out of those when we need to shore things up. As you go down through the IDYCA, obviously, whenever, the expense to the district is the cost to the district. So that's kind of a wash through there for the most part. What's the other bigger ones? The title programs, all the federal programs, those generally don't generate increase in funding over the years. We don't see a huge increase on that. When you get to the IDEA and the on the special ed side of things, they can increase based on our need for our special ed students, but it's always a year. It's actually the second year after by the time we get those numbers, because it's based on the reporting of a December count the year prior. Then we don't get it that year, we get it the following. So there's basically 2 years behind that. So we will see some increase in that as our special ed population increases. What else going down through? Food service, we always make up the difference on that. I know this last year we committed to buy, purchasing breakfast for everybody is again. Something we'll have to take a look at before school starts again. Insurance buy downs, we have, there's. Mhm.
In Carmen's report, it looked like her goals included the walk-in stuff that we had done. Are we
Currently in the process.
okay?
Yes.
So it's carrying over.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that's, if you look at the budget, the actual front page of that budget, it shows about a $647,000 transfer in from forest funds. And that is to make up the difference in some of the projects that we have listed. So we budget in, so primarily our income versus what we had in forest funds, and the last few years since we've had ESSER funding and the federal dollars, we haven't really tapped into our forest funds. So we're looking at committing those dollars to these projects that we didn't complete with some of the ESSER money. And that's why things like the parking lot at the high school, those type of things are on there to finish up this freezer project, the district-wide one, those type of things. So those are all budgeted in, and that's where that kind of makes that budget a whole from that. Basically that reserve side of things, or the forest fund.
Okay, oh. Is that the other source that's identified in the summary?
Yeah.
Oh, this is 93.
Yeah, it's under the transfers.
I'm on page 4.
See.
Transfer. Okay, thank you.
And keep in mind that gets transferred into general fund, because the forest funds is a separate accounting piece. Yeah.
That capital
Mhm.
where those dollars.
It comes from the forest fund, it goes into general fund, and then general fund will have to make those transfers to make those other places whole that are shorted. So if we're not receiving full funding for food service or whatever, that will come from general fund. But if we have to transfer in for something like that, we always can.
And that 672,000 is
Mhm.
projected based on bids, scientific guesses?
No, those are based on bids and actual contracts. Yeah.
Did it show those big projects somewhere? Or, I mean, just the top 3 or 4?
Do you?
They were in the reports.
Yeah.
I saw one of them, but I missed.
I didn't see them on the expenditure side.
Yeah. Is Roy here? No, Roy's not here.
Okay.
So they aren't coded to a task, a budget line.
So those will be coded to the projects or what's it called? Capital improvement, isn't it under capital?
Good, I'm glad we captured them. That was a big
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
All good questions.
I had. You have more? What are you looking for? I'll help you.
Security. The security program, 100,000 this year, $0 last year. Page 5.
And there's a new grant. Are we gonna apply for that?
Shows off top of
I
the
can
head.
actually
Yeah.
answer the 100,000. So those were the projects we'd already started this year, cameras, locks and that. So that's basically our remaining balance that we have left owing on those projects right now.
And are we gonna apply for that grant that's now open?
Already did.
Okay, good.
Submitted it today,
I figured,
thanks to them.
I saw that and was like, yes.
Yeah, it looks like we're eligible for about 160,000.
Reimbursement,
Mhm.
cool.
Because it's supposedly 20,000 per building is what we're seeing. So,
Mhm.
but we can group it into bigger holistic projects. So we piecemealed that together to fill in some blanks for some of the projects. So yeah,
Awesome.
we'll see.
Good job.
I did get an email saying they
You
they
got
received it. So 2 weeks, they said, before we would know.
Then on page 6, line 80, unappropriated balance. Last year, -6, this year, 149, 142.
That was a really good question. Go for it. So we had that, I had that same question. I'll just answer it. I'll save you this. We had a meeting this afternoon to kind of make sure we were up to snuff on everything. And that was the question I had. I'm like, somebody's going to ask that. And you know what the answer is? We don't know for sure. It's how the accounting program does it. And I don't know. And it was last year's, correct? Neither one are in
No,
this
it's
year's. You sure?
Yeah, it
Last
says,
year was like 6 and this year
okay.
149, 114.
I just thought, well, we found money.
Yeah. Well, it's a question we have to our auditor, how that's actually happening. I don't know where it's getting, if it's we thought maybe it's a translation between the percent, like the decimal. I don't know, but it's not a very big amount, but I still don't have an answer for it. I don't know. It's a good question. We're trying to find that one.
Well, it's a good person amount.
It's,
Because the other thing, if you go to page 96, it has it at 4,269. So that's not a number I put in there. It's something that the
Okay.
computer
So it's-
does.
it's correcting for
Yeah.
some reason. We don't know.
Everything I did came out at 0 at the end. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that offset is in there somewhere. Yeah. Well, it's still, we still need to know where it's at. That's exactly what we said. We will just,
No, that's different. So that on 96, it's prior year. On page 6, it's this year.
This year.
So it's not showing up in the proposed as.
it's
we
showing,
did.
it's showing 0
Yeah.
for this year. So it 0 somehow or another from last year's.
Yep. 6.
We definitely need to get to the bottom of it.
I just go back to this.
I'm sure the auditor.
I'm sure.
when they Audit. that,
Yep.
They'll look at that.
Yep.
Figure that out somehow.
It's not good having unknowns.
When you guys met, did anything stand out to you guys besides some of the questions we already asked?
We were trying to get inside of your heads. Trying to figure out what you guys are gonna ask.
I want to know.
How'd you
We've hit
do?
them so far.
How'd you do?
We're doing all
Really?
right.
Yeah, doing great.
Feel like there's a couple more hidden in there. We gotta find.
I just had one more for me on page 24, other state revenue. Prior year 141,000. This year we're expecting 83. So just because it was a decent enough gap in that
Mhm.
revenue line. Not sure what it's attached to other than revenue. Line item 55.
Page 24.
What page you say 24?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a 439 code, 4390,
Yes.
390.
55 is the total of all the state.
State revenue is 12 million 40,593, right?
Mhm.
Right. This was just the other line. I
Yeah.
was curious.
See what you're saying?
Yep. You knew you were gonna have to get your file out, right?
Well, let's see what code that is.
You need the number?
43,900.
So those codes are part of the iFarms coding. So when you look up,
Mhm.
so we sent. I think with the budget, we sent the forms that look like this, that show that all of our fund numbers. And then these lists. So if you go to
You have that list?
Mhm.
This list.
this page, it explains what those 4 3 numbers are.
It was emailed. You had it electronically,
Yeah,
had it electronically.
so 439,100, is that what it was?
Mhm.
Is just all other state revenue.
Is that the water grant?
No,
No?
No.
Oh, it's something related to instruction.
it's just all other state. So.
Brittany, is it capturing any of the special distributions in that?
Yes, I think so it's,
Because it's in with
it
your,
looks like it's lumped them. Yeah, so all those that start,
so it is the special,
it's all other state revenue. Mhm.
so it's your special distributions that are
it's-
in the,
Mhm.
so like the tuition equivalency and all those lumped together. Clubs.
It looks like, yeah, it just puts them all in one line on here.
So other than the fact that it comes from the state, we really don't know.
So they could be part of the special distribution. So the state also gives us certain funding for certain programs. So like we have like professional development and stuff like that. And so they'll, give me a calculation. I figure out how much for that program we're going to get. And then they put them all into like one revenue and lump everything together on this side. So I go through and still split it out. But as far as the revenue, it all goes into one account. So that's all just all other state revenue, state support that doesn't fall under something specific like transportation or something.
So it could be professional development. it
Mhm.
could
It's,
be-
all other.
Yeah.
Down here, if you come down to
So-
33, there's other state support for 14,000
Mhm.
last year versus
Mhm.
15 this year.
So,
And I think I'm not sure they line itemed our reading
Well, yeah, that's what.
scores on
that's
that,
why I
did they?
Right.
That's okay. I think that like on our reading scores, I think their new formula, I'm not sure if this is how they did it or not. So last year, so like I said, they kind of flipped that on our reading support. It used to be if you were a low functioning school or low testing school, you would get more money, but if your scores are higher, you end up with more, and there's a calculation through that, and that could be how they're doing that at this point. I don't know for sure. Another one we need to find out.
So on 97, page 97, the summary of the expenditures doesn't have that kind of expenditure category. Is that lumped into?
Yeah, so a lot of the general fund money will not have a particular expenditure like what you're saying, like it doesn't necessarily have to follow through where the funding source is, because it can come into general fund, if that makes sense. And then you can use it expenditure out in another place. Is that what you were asking?
Well, I mean, so we have salaries, benefits, purchase services, supplies and materials, capital outlay, debt, retirement, insurance and judgments, and then transfers. So from an expenditure side, if that's for professional development, where would that live? Purchase services. Thank you. Okay, so that's kind of a catch-all. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Those were my questions.
You can open it up.
Any other questions? Anybody in the audience have any questions, comments, anything? Anybody sleep? It's a lot of information, a lot of
Anybody glazed over back there?
lot of numbers.
And I'm still new. Tell me again when the audit happens and we go through that. That's in
So-
the fall.
Yeah, as soon as we finish this fiscal year, so starting in July, I start working with the auditor to start
Okay.
getting everything finished up and gathered up, and then he comes in the fall. It was around October. I
Early
know he was
last
a little
year.
bit earlier last year, so it depends on how busy they are.
And he'll have a big
Yep.
report. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll have to have it approved by before the end of the calendar year.
Okay.
So generally we try to do it a little quicker than that, but that's the deadline. So, yep.
Well, if there's no other comments or questions, can I get a motion to adjourn our
Us too.
budget hearing?
Oh, sorry, I'm doing this too.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Yes, I
move
forgot.
that we adjourn the budget hearing.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, with that, we're gonna move on into our regular board meeting. So we'll call the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call?
Hold on. Sorry, triple duty in here.
We miss Carmen.
We do.
We do.
Carmen, if you watch this later, we miss you. Trustee Herbst.
Here.
Trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Drew.
Here.
Trustee Craig.
Here.
And Trustee Saint Germain.
Here.
6:58.
We've already done the flag salute.
Okay.
Think we have to do that again. Okay, can I get a motion for approval of our agenda with the amendments?
Amendments?
Oh, well, yeah.
There were no amendments.
Oh, there weren't any.
There are none.
They
Never
just
mind.
highlight. it's
Yes.
just- okay.
Just if there
Highlighted.
wasn't,
Never
then
mind. If
there
there
is
was
not.
any.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
gonna move that
Yeah,
we,
never mind. Yeah, never mind.
I'm gonna move that we approve the agenda.
Any discussion other than there's no amendments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, let's move on to public comment, and we have 2 requests for public comment.
Yep.
From Mr. and Mrs. Bonner, so
Yep.
y'all want to come up together one at a time, however you want to do it? It's up to you.
You're gonna go first, guy? You better go together.
Well, have you down first, Eva? So-
That mic
Already had
too,
you
guy,
pre-written in
before
here. Yeah, if you'll turn on your microphone. Yeah, there you
You're
go.
good.
All right. So I'll read mine. I am Eva Bonner. Our family lives in Pierce and our son will be graduating from THS in 2024. Good evening, Joint School District 171 Board and Superintendent Dr. Garrett. I appreciate the opportunity to address the board with our concerns regarding the 2024 Timberline High graduation day and or time, as well as future JSD 171 graduation days and times. High school graduation is a once-in-a-lifetime moment, not only for graduating students, but for their families, friends, communities, so that they can watch and participate in. In the past, other than the last few THS graduation ceremonies, graduation was held on either a Friday or Saturday evening, alternating day and time each year. By holding the graduations on different days, no earlier than 6 p.m. in the evening, the majority of family, friends, and community could attend. This made it nice for anyone attending both graduations because, let's face it, a majority of the family, friends, and community members attending graduation are related to and or close to the graduates at both high schools. No one wants to attend a graduation, then leave as quickly as they can to drive an hour or so in order to attend the other graduation. What about the graduates? What if they have close friends or family graduating at the other graduation? Graduates are required to be at the school early before graduation for different reasons, and the safe and sober party is usually starts right after graduation cleanup. What opportunity does the graduate get to attend the other graduation when the ceremonies are held on the same day? How could this be a memorable experience for anyone? Why were the days and times ever changed? How is it that having both graduations on the same day benefits our graduates, our families, our friends, or our community? I am here today because I was told that the 2024 Timberline High graduation ceremony has already been set by the calendar committee for June 9th, 2024 at 4:30 p.m. This does not work for the majority of graduates, family, friends, or community. I am asking for an action item for the following. First, if any JSD 171 graduation is held during the work week, Monday through Friday, the ceremony will begin no earlier than 6 p.m. Second, to change the day or times of the 2024 Joint School District 171 THS and OHS graduations, as well as future JSD 171 graduations. I am asking that we have one graduation on Friday evening, no earlier than 6 p.m., the second graduation on Saturday evening, and that the school alternate between Friday and Saturday each year. I don't feel like this is too much to ask for this once in a lifetime moment.
Yeah.
So-
Sorry for that. That's a timer.
Okay. I also
So-
feel that by having the graduations on different days, no earlier than 6 p.m. on Friday, it will benefit the majority of the graduates, family, friends, and community members. Third, at the very least, if both JSD 171 graduations have to be on the same day, have it on the Saturday with a decent enough time spread that graduates, family, friends, and community can enjoy attending each graduation ceremony. If you do not already have a parent on the calendar committee, I am asking at this time to be added as a parent input on the future calendar committee. Thank you for your time. Eva Bonner.
I'll be fairly quick. My wife wanted to do it more on our personal situation, and she did take into consideration other people in the town. And I get, sometimes an educator and board members can be a thankless job. There's a lot that goes on that people just walk into the graduation and like, I'm sitting down, we're good to go. There's a lot of stuff that happens, and I do appreciate the efforts that everybody puts forth on that. And I've always been a supporter of teachers, staff, board. I more wanted to just look at it as a broad spectrum, because I know that you can't. And are you the only one that saw my letter, sir? Did they get to see it? Okay, awesome. Thank you. I know you can't please everybody. So I was just more saying, well, then we should look at the majority. I know for years, we did the Friday, Saturday, and we just traded. I mean, Friday, Saturday at 7 p.m. And I could see even, like she said, maybe 6 if people wanted to go earlier, because sometimes like the Orofino one could be longer. Right. So things to take into consideration, but I do believe that probably was the best. I don't think anybody really had a problem with that. The shift came when COVID came. That was understandable. One was indoor, one was outdoor. We had less people, a little easier for us to be indoor. And it was done on the same day, get her done. Then after that is where we changed to the 5-7, 5-7. And then this year, 4:30, 6:30. And next year it's going to be 4:30, 6:30. with not really a rotation put in mind. And regardless, like I said, the right answer isn't to say, well, then somebody else take the crappy time this year and then we'll take the time. It's not good for anybody. It wouldn't be right. So I think just some consideration needs to be taken in, not just to fix something for me personally for this year that happens to be next year that happens to be our son, but more something that works for a lot of people heretofore. And I really believe the 2-day one works best because, yeah, you can't make every school align. You know what I mean? It's like, who's going to sit around and say, well, I want my personal situation for my kid and my nephew and my grandkid, and for me to be able to go to both graduations and them to go to both little graduation parties. That isn't going to work out. But we are in a privileged situation where we are a joint school district and we have 2 schools and we can make it work, and we have made it work in the past. So after we got out of that 2020 COVID fix, it just seemed like we ended up into this 2 for 5 and 7, 5 and 7, and then 4:30 and 6:30, and we're just kind of getting way off. And I just feel like if we went back to where we were, I don't think anybody had problems with that.
Right.
But that's just all I said.
Thank you. And I totally hear you. So, and we kind of have had a little bit of discussion on this already. And you're right, COVID kind of messed.
Yeah, it's the new, these are not the words you're looking for. You just say COVID and it works.
Not appropriate for this setting.
It messed a lot of things
It
up.
did.
You're right.
It did. And yeah, it can definitely be looked at and fixed. The calendar committee is the one who does it. We don't,
Just sign off at the end.
we just sign off at the end on a calendar. We don't really have anything, but with that being said, that we can have input on it and we will definitely take that into consideration. We can't do it as an action item tonight because it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, right. Going forward.
Going-
Yes.
So I think what best thing to do would be, we'll look at it and July, we'll put it on our agenda in July to talk about it and maybe come up with some recommendations for the calendar committee.
Yeah.
And I think pretty easy fix.
Yeah.
And who is the calendar committee? Do we know? off
It's a
the top of-
committee.
Of people?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. But could we get that
Ryan
eventually?
Orofino,
Yeah.
Mixture of teachers.
Okay.
It's a bunch of different.
And there were community, there were parents on it as well. So
Yeah.
board, I think, were you on it, Jesse?
1 year I sat in on it.
So administrators, teachers,
Yeah.
Staff, other staff,
And
and
we
then
definitely
parents as well.
have the ability
Yeah.
to give our recommendation of what, and you're right, it did change. It definitely did change. And honestly, it was kind of a crapshoot getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, right. You have to
Especially
get going.
Good thing it's downhill.
And if, yeah,
Yes.
No,
you
this,
know,
I don't remember this even coming up on the committee, so it probably just got put in and then they rolled it.
I think it just
The
went,
biggest thing on the committee was the Fridays, trying to
Yeah.
have school on Fridays and then not have it the next, and trying to get some of those more longer holidays and maybe go to school on more Fridays. But then people have their schedule around that. That was the biggest discussion I remember, because people have daycare on Fridays already lined up. So now if all of a sudden the kids have to go to school, it messes stuff up. So I think this probably got put on a few years back.
Well,
And
like I said
about.
before, like there's a lot of things kind of go on, and most of us parents, like you might have a grumbling or a complaint, but it's not enough for you to take time out of your day and then come on down here. You guys got enough stuff you deal with. So I think it just kind of, after a couple of years, finally, we're like,
Yeah.
okay, we need to address this.
and we
So I appreciate the
we
years.
definitely hear you, and,
Thank you.
and we will put it on the agenda next time and we'll have a discussion about it, figure something out.
Thank you. I really
You don't
appreciate it.
tell us about it.
Yeah.
We don't.
It's been hard for us.
Yeah, if nobody says anything, yeah.
We were driving off in the rainstorm,
Sorry.
trying to hustle to the other. So
That was not the.
Ferrari.
Yeah, no, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you guys.
Thanks.
Okay, any other? None, right? Are we good?
I have none.
All right. So let's move over to the approval of the minutes from several meetings.
Yes. We've had a few.
We've had a few. Can I get a
Through
motion?
them all. I didn't see any errors. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 6, 2023 special meeting, June 12th, 2023 special meeting, April 17th, 2023 work session, and regular meeting, May 15th, work session and regular meeting as presented.
I'll second
That's a
that.
lot. Any discussion?
Jesse?
Any discussion? No, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. All right, consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
I'll move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, moving on to our reports and recognitions. It's been a busy year. Usual, I'll go through my ones that were highlighted in the reports. Orofino Elementary School would like to recognize Diane Russell. She's retiring at the end of the year. Diane's been a fixture, playground fixture at Orofino Elementary for, I think, when my kids were going to school at Orofino Elementary, and I'm really old, so it's been a long time ago. So congratulations on retirement. And also Steve O'Brien is leaving us this year as well. Steve has been a fixture in our intervention program at the elementary school and has done a really good job for the safety and concerns at that school. From Timberline, Kristen Sparrow. She does a lot, goes above and beyond his Lighthouse program and several other things that were listed, and she really does a very good job. And also Carolyn Condor, sorry. Culinary leadership field days. She's done a lot at Timberline, as well as Billy Cooper, who Billy does the Timberline Facebook page. And if any of y'all follow the Timberline Facebook page, she does a phenomenal job with that. She even has the kids doing the announcements in the morning on there, which I personally really like to see the little kids doing the announcements. Is pretty precious, but Billy has been a fixture as well at Timberline High School for a lot of years. She's not leaving, but she's awesome. So, all right. Anything else on the reports? It's been a good year, busy year. Did you have anything else? I think everybody has let out this deep sigh of relief that the end of the year is here. So, yay.
And we made it with bus drivers.
Yeah,
Barely.
we did. We did. Everybody hung on.
But we did.
We had some challenges with transportation and some of these things, but we managed to make it work. So, good thing. All right. Anything else on that?
I just say thank you for a good year. I
Yeah.
think the admin teams and our teachers did a great job. Appreciate everybody's hard work.
It's been a year. Not COVID, but it's been a year. So, all right. So let's move on to our discussion on, first up is the food bids.
So if you guys have had a chance to check that, look at the link, what this is this is the entire co-op. So, we're in a co-op with the other schools in our region. And these bids, we can actually pull our prices down a little bit based on these bids. And these are the winners. If you go to the very bottom one where it says the awarded bids, that will give you on the tabs with fresh produce, the non-food chemicals, and the master bid and the dairy. So I know the dairy, we ended up going with the state bid because it was actually less than any kind of a local bid, which actually will help us ensure our prices be a little bit lower as well. So. Any questions on that? Like I said, these are, Carmen puts this together, her and JJ, they do a fantastic job of that. And with, they head up the co-op and I think save a lot of schools a lot of money. We can piggyback off each other when we look at the volume. So it's been a good thing for us.
So we're just
Yeah. So the ones that, if you look at the very bottom tab of that, there's the awarded bids, and it's each one of those tabs on there for each one. So, yep.
Gotcha.
So we're looking at fresh produce, non-food chemicals, the master bid, and then the dairy.
Who all's in this co-op with us?
Oh, I think we're at what, 12? She's not here. She could tell me. I think there's 12 schools now. It's primarily everybody in our region. With the exception, we have Moscow, but I don't believe we have Lewiston, but we have Moscow and then all the other smaller surrounding schools in the area. So.
Except for the ones that contract, right?
Yeah, correct. And there's very few of those, but we've tried to spread it out as much as we can, but try to keep it, what it's really doing is benefiting us, and it's really benefiting the small schools. If they become a co-op member, they can get prices a lot better than what they could if they were doing it on their own because of their volume.
And then you get this price all year?
So this is a guaranteed price, but they've been known to break their contract as well. Yeah. Based on, based on supply and demand, the milk prices will always vary, but this is supposed to be what, guaranteed. It's what we budget off of. So.
And I'm assuming the increased food storage, frozen storage, and that's gonna make a huge difference in.
Once we get that done, we'll have the ability to reach out even farther and to do, more volume and we can kind of go past some of this as well. So, I mean, we can get more bids.
Still the volume with
Mhm.
not us. with our storage.
Correct. Right.
Storage is just for our use.
Yes. Yeah. So we have discussed that we could utilize, if we had enough space, we could utilize it to store for other people. So if they wanted to buy bulk and help reduce our price, maybe we could, we could do that, and then they could come and deliver. I mean, we could either deliver for a fee or they could come and get, and maybe we could utilize some of that for a little bit of storage space. Probably be cheaper for them to buy volume and store than it would be to buy some of it and get delivered. So we've explored that a little bit, but once we get that done, we'll look at that a little further. Well, and there's other co-ops that we could kind of model after, but yeah, that's essentially it. Yeah. Kind of shelf space.
Okay, anything else on the food bids?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
Goodness.
Well, that's Carmen. She does it.
Yeah. Make a job.
She does a really good job on all that.
Yes, no doubt, a lot of institutional memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Goodness.
There's nothing else on that. Let's move on to budget. Which we.
Yeah, this was just if you had any further questions that came up,
Budget.
and then
I think I'm good at this point.
We're getting smarter.
We are,
Round one.
round one. Do you have another chance?
yeah, learning curve. Okay, next step would be the FY 23 budget revisions. Did everybody have a chance to review those? And any questions on that?
My only comment for the public is that it appears as though this is new grant dollars coming in that weren't budgeted
Mhm.
upfront. It's not filling in a bunch of holes that we had expended over.
Right.
Mhm.
It's absolutely true. So we do not, and just to kind of repeat that, we do not budget the grants because there's nothing, we don't have anything line items to budget against. Once we expend them and then they're reimbursable, then they become part of our budgeting process. So these are basically those requests the grant, it comes in, fills in for whatever we've already purchased. So anything that's on here is, and it's not all of that, but that's what the majority of that is.
And I assume the 248, the Title 1D, we had extra and they took it back.
Where are you looking at?
Towards the bottom.
Third to the bottom.
Yep.
Third from the bottom.
Yes.
They reduced it by that.
Yes.
Hopefully they told us before we expended. Good.
Okay. Any other questions on the budget revisions?
Nope. That was my question.
That was your question? Okay. Cool. All right, next is the wage schedule for FY 24. Did everybody get a chance? Just note too, that hasn't been, the negotiated agreement and the certified wages have not been ratified by the CEA or any of that. We're still in process on all that, so. But for the classified administrative, did everybody have a chance to?
So on the classified, I just want to make note that Farah did a tremendous amount of work on this, our HR. She's a whiz at this, and with lots of input from our directors and staff about where we needed to go with this. I know last year we'd moved our starting wages to $15 an hour. And we knew that was going to create some kind of a ripple effect or whatever you want to say. There were some people that got pretty close to that. So we were committed to going back and redoing that whole schedule. And this is a result of that. So we created more of a tiered system of, positions, and it's not based on importance, it's based on responsibility and, what that basically the responsibility of that position. So once we kind of got down through that, and then start putting in the years across and trying to balance that out with existing folks that were already, long-term people or short-term people and how that all fits, it was a pretty big task, and Farrah was up for it and did a great job on that. So she deserves all the credit on that, making all that work out. And the directors, they had a lot of input on it as well to really help influence that. And so kudos to them for coming up with this.
Thank you. I like it, but the tier 1 is $10 across the board.
That's
students.
Only student employees. Yeah, just scroll down a little bit. It's, Yep. Yep.
Student hire list.
We clarified that.
yep.
And then same with substitutes, we made them. flat
Yes.
At that 15.
Yep.
But then everybody else based on years will go up.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And as we increase, it'll be easier to do just a quick, if we go 2%, 3%, whatever we do from here on, we can kind of just boom through it. Yeah. And it just goes through the whole thing. So that'll be a lot easier.
It'll mimic what we do.
Yeah.
With the
There's been a tremendous
state.
amount of work done this year to, like I said, to clean things up, and I have to clean them up but to simplify them to where we can utilize them and know exactly what we've got in front of us. It's a lot better system. I was just telling them that today, that there's been a lot of effort put into that to make it easier.
Hopefully it helps with our retention and some of our recruitment.
So when will these wages go in for staff?
July, right?
Yeah, July. But so, yeah, you have to keep in mind though, that most of our classified staff and our certified staff all are basically September 1 to August 31. So even though they're getting paid in July and August, that is from this current year.
Yep.
So they're paid over 12 months for roughly 9.5 months work. If
Yep.
that makes sense.
Tell me those dates again, just so I can.
So September 1 to August 31 is that's our classified. So, yeah, so anybody,
This won't go into effect until September 1.
right, that's when the new terms and contracts will be presented. So yes. So everybody will remain on the current wage. I mean, they're finishing out because they've already done the work over the 9 months. They're just getting paid over 12.
But then next year, or team
Right.
would go through years
Right.
there.
Yep.
and Adjust
Yep.
based on this. Awesome.
And then,
that's all been calculated into the proposed budget.
yep, it's all in there. That all had to be done first before we could come up with a,
So if we
Yes,
give
feed
it an
in.
increase, I mean, you're talking about doing a percentage increase. We're basically. I'd like to, I see how it works with how many years you accrued and so forth. But we're starting at the same level.
yes.
So we're not increasing that this year at all.
No, we said we were going to increase the remainder of it this year and keep that
Mhm.
15 entry.
Gotcha.
So from here on, I mean, if we decide so choose, if you want to add 2% onto the 15 or
It'll go
everything,
across
it goes the
board.
whole thing.
And it'll be even.
And-
That was a
Start
big
at the
set
base.
last year.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
We start, if we
Well, now
increase,
it's a little
if we
bit,
increase the.
Yes.
Increase the
Out of-
base, just like we do.
Yeah.
Under control.
If we,
Yes,
and if we do it, just like
Manageable.
they do in the salary ladder,
yeah.
where we increase the base, then it follows through to the rest.
So we'll really look at, they'll also move a year.
Yep.
So there's that percentage, whatever, and right now it's at 1%, and then you would move, whatever that increase is. So if there's 3%, it's really a 4, if that makes sense. If you're saying the next year.
Yeah.
Is there a performance review tied to the increase?
So as with any position, there's always performance tied to it. With classified staff, it's a little different story than certified staff.
Yep.
So classified, generally it's a different type of evaluation. It's more of an ongoing evaluation instead of a summative. And there's legal reasons for that as much as anything. Yeah. So, but yes, there are performance. Somebody's not doing their job.
So am I reading this right? Every time you move up, you get a 1%.
Yeah, that's so the top is showing the years and down is the tiers,
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. plus whatever percentage we would add on to the scale. So now we have a salary schedule that is, we can just add to a percentage or whatever and run through scenarios pretty easily.
Yeah, I really, really like it.
Yeah.
But so back to that question.
Yeah.
of Performance, if someone is not performing or we have issues, is there a clawback to the advancement?
So
Any policy?
generally speaking, somebody's going to move to the next year.
Yeah, because unless they get fired, because it's based on longevity versus,
No, that's what I was
Yeah.
asking if there.
That's a good question.
yeah.
Yeah.
All righty. Any other questions on that? Any other discussion? All right, I think we do need executive. Yep. So can I get a motions for executive session?
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
okay.
Gotta get back to the
Oh.
minutes here. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. So we did do this, didn't we?
You ready for executive?
Yeah. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
yes.
I get a motion
Got
for,
all set.
I'm going to move that we move into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206, 1A and B.
I'll second.
any discussion? No objection?
Need a roll
Roll
call.
call. Yep,
Trustee Herbst,
yes.
trustee Daniels,
Yes.
trustee Giroux.
Yes.
Trustee Craig,
Yes.
trustee Saint Germain.
All right. Where are we going to do this?
Go this way.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. The first action item is our food bids for FY 24. Can I get a motion?
I will move that we accept the food bids as presented for fiscal year 24.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, next up are bus bids.
Oh, Derek, I got questions.
Okay.
That's why he stayed.
Why stay?
I appreciate you staying as well.
No reason.
Let me get to it and pull it up. God bless it. Here we go. Not that complicated. There's 3 bids, right?
Mhm.
Which one do you like?
So my recommendation is we do bid number 3
Okay,
for Mustard Mountain. They're the low bid. It'll also be identical to the last 2 that we ordered that are on order still because they're so far behind.
so we've done business with them before.
yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
we're still waiting on product from them.
Yeah, see, we ordered our FY 24 buses that we knew were gonna be here to probably about the first of the year. Now they're so far behind in production. We're looking at our FY 25 buses. We're so far behind on getting them from the
Okay.
factory, so
I read that in your report. How does that affect our reimbursement from the state?
it doesn't.
Okay.
Nope.
All right,
And then what, my only question was trade-ins.
So I don't know if you copied that, Mike, what I sent you. I recommended that
No.
give me the leeway.
Right.
I don't force me to trade it in and let me try because I just sold on public surplus that little minibus that we had
Yeah.
for $6,500
That's
and they
right.
offered us $500 trade in for it.
Perfect.
So we have one of them that we didn't trade in last time.
Yep.
When it comes time, I'm going to try the public surplus side again
Okay.
and see what we can get. And so I want to work with the vendor on this and see if he's going to lock me on the trade. And I want to see if I can get a better option. So if you can give me the leeway, just let me order the bus without it's coming and then give me the leeway on the trade to figure out the best option.
We're on the same page.
Sounds good.
all right.
All I have.
I agree.
Thanks.
Okay, can we get a motion then?
Make a motion that we accept the bus bid number 3 through Western Mountain Bus Sales for $145,696. And we'll allow our director to have that flexibility on the trade-in.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
Jesse, right? Second.
Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
sorry.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, next parking lot bid. Did everybody see the bid? Can I get a motion?
Is it a safety issue?
For what?
Parking lot?
Mhm.
I'm going to say yes. Have you walked in it in the dark? Then
It's bad. yeah.
it's not very good. It needs
It's
to be
embarrassing.
done. Yeah.
We have a motion.
I was going to.
Go for it.
The motion, and then we'll second. and we'll
Yeah,
discuss.
we can discuss.
Yeah. Do we got a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the upper parking lot bid as presented.
I'll second.
Now discussion.
My discussion was, is there a reason we had one bid? I'm sure knowing the bid, we got the best being here in town. That actually is a lot more affordable than I thought it was gonna be.
So we had it open posted for 2 weeks like we do all of our bidding.
We
So,
did.
yeah.
Okay, so we
Yep.
only had one come in
Mhm.
and we know they'll do a good job.
It's a very reasonable bid.
Oh, very reasonable bid.
I was a little
Surprising.
surprised at how the cost
Me
is very
too.
low.
Well, it's not done yet. So that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Make
Okay.
Right,
Stay
that's
within
just
it.
for the upper,
Mhm.
Yes.
which is by far the worst.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
Did you vote?
Very
Or are you
bad.
still discussing?
We're still discussing. Okay,
Just
all in favor?
forgot. Well,
What?
Question,
Mhm.
analysis of need and not questioning leadership's decision to go
Sure.
out for bid on this, but I'm just saying where, in association with all of the capital improvement projects that we need, how did this float to the surface?
Lots of different ways. So we've had a lot of community input on that as well. So it is a community need. Also, when we have events there, that parking lot's very ill designed. We've had a lot of requests from law enforcement and EMS to try to figure something out to be able to get people in more safely and out more safely, because it really gets bottlenecked. So that's part of this redoing this and relocating or redirecting the flow and repainting and redirecting. Yeah. There's some drainage that needs to be addressed as well, but yeah, so that's probably the biggest, if you want to say safety, that's a big issue, very big issue.
Yeah, and I don't think it's been resurfaced since the school was built.
No,
That I,
I've never seen any record of it.
Yeah.
So it's probably the original.
Just
Yep.
curious.
Nope.
okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Motion carries.
Was that a 4 and a part or was that 5? What do I put?
Well,
I put 5.
All right. All right, next, the FY24 budget. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the FY24 budget as presented.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, the FY23 budget revisions. Can I get a motion?
I'll move, we accept the revisions to the FY23 budget as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, adding Nicole Anderson, our new central office person as the account signatory.
It's a good description.
Well, she's accounts payable and payroll clerk person.
Make a motion that the account signatory Nicole Anderson, AP and payroll for central office.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, the wage schedule for FY24 for classified, administrative and certified. And just to note that the certified salary schedule is pending ratification by the CEA and approval. So
So do we vote on that?
we're not gonna be voting on this.
I would go ahead and approve what's
We can
there.
approve
Yeah.
the certified. Okay, yeah, we can approve it.
Pending the-
It just
We'll
has to be
wait on the
ratified.
negotiated agreement.
Okay, I'm gonna move that we accept the wage schedules, fiscal year 2024 for classified, administrative and certified as presented. Pending thank you. Pending ratification by CEA.
Yeah.
On the certified side.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Negotiated agreement, of course, we don't have
We don't have.
that yet, so we won't be taking any action on that tonight. And new hires and separation, we only have the one. So can I get a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the new hire separations as presented.
I'll
Se-
second.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Good.
All right, input for our next regular meeting, which is July 17th at
6:30.
6:30.
July was the month we didn't have something.
There, there is a work session on there for the SIP plan, I believe. So that would be at
So
5, I think. Yes. So we had it.
I will be in the woods
Ooh,
for 17 days,
Nice.
so I won't be here for that one.
So 5 PM
mhm.
and then 6:30-ish.
Yep,
At the library.
yep.
Okay.
JSHS.
And we want to, I think one thing we'll put on there is the discussion and possible action item for the graduation. plan.
Yes,
Mm.
right.
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah,
Chat
make
that.
sure you get that on there.
That seems like a pretty easy.
And we also negotiated agreement if we don't do anything
Negotiate
for that.
if we don't have that. And I think that's, anybody else got anything else?
And no special meetings before that day? Can we say that?
What about, we have to hire a principal for IDYCA, so I hate to say that. So we're gonna have to have one
At least
before
one,
that. Yeah,
Just for that one.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, quick one on that.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Well,
Okay.
We approved that tonight, though, right? Pending their approval.
Principal will be good though.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Do we have candidates? for
Yeah.
the
We do
vacant
have
principal?
candidates.
And it's open for a couple.
Yes, it actually, our first round, we were going to close to Wednesday.
Okay.
But we're going to leave it open. And I think we're going to set up interviews for about the 6th of July, 5th or
Okay.
6th.
So run it another week
Yeah.
or two.
Yep. Make sure we have a good pool and then give everybody, myself, a chance to get back. Get
Sounds
involved
great.
with that. So
All right. If there's nothing else, can I get a motion for adjournment?
Move that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.